Today we are celebrating the start of Asian Heritage Month with Juana, who teaches intercultural studies and cultural diversity. Born in China, Professor Du's work, research and travels have brought her to Europe, Asia, North America, and the Middle East. She is dedicated to fostering understanding and collaboration across cultures and is passionate about improving intercultural dialogues in our globalized world. So Juana, Canada officially declared Asian Heritage Month back in 2002, so it's been over 20 years now. And I wondered if you could just reflect a little bit on the importance of that designation.
Celebrating May Asian Heritage Month presents a great opportunity for us to reflect on and to learn more about those great achievements and contributions made by Asian Canadians. And speaking of the history of Asian Canadian immigrant, it can be traced back to more than 115 years ago, when those Chinese immigrant workers arrived on the West Coast and joined the workers to build the Pacific Railway. Those Chinese workers not only helped build Canada physically, they also contributed to the cultural diversity of the society, which become a very important characteristics today. And speaking of the Asian immigrant history, and also those Canadian-born second generations, they all contribute to the ethno-cultural diversity in this society. So I think celebrating Asian May Heritage Month actually build a bridge to invite all cultural communities to celebrate together, to engage in deep intercultural dialogue in order to learn more about each other. And also it's quite fascinating to realize that Asian community actually is a very diverse community. And geographically speaking, Asian society include South Asia, East Asia, Southeast Asia, Central Asia, and West Asia.
You know, when you talk about Asian Heritage Month, I mean, as you pointed out, Asia is huge and incredibly diverse. So it's an opportunity for us all to learn about the incredible diversity all across Asia and those very different cultural traditions as well.
I actually also had a chance to check the recent census. And for those Canadians who reported to have Asian origins, there are about more than 7 million people in the society today. So it's quite fascinating to realize that actually account for more than 19%, almost 20% of the population in Canadian society. So I think that actually also impacts the landscape of post-secondary university, as we also have faculty, staff, and students from many different cultural traditions, and many of them are reporting, many of them are having Asian origins.
Right. Right. Now, Juana, we also know that people of Asian descent were integral in the development of the grounds here at Royal Roads, and we know this is the same across the country. And here in Victoria, our historic Chinatown is a symbol of early immigration to the city, and the cherry trees like the ones in the garden, of course, are a reminder of the Japanese heritage. So how do these historical treasures bring opportunities for us to build multicultural communities and learn about diverse histories?
So once we talk about diverse perspectives, diverse histories, the first idea come to mind is always how diverse we are and how different we are. So look at the ethnicity, the worldviews, the history, the language, that all speaks to our diversity. But if we look at diverse perspective at a deeper level, I think it's even more fascinating to realize how similar we are, as we are all humans and connected to each other, related to each other. And as individuals, we are also to a large extent are defined by our roles in our family, in our social relationships, in our community relationships.
Yes.
So for me, I think to truly appreciate a diverse perspective, to appreciate diverse histories is not only to understand cultural differences, but also similarities.
That sort of interconnectedness is an interesting theme. I know we have a Japanese garden here, but in touring that Japanese garden with a Japanese garden designer, he said there are many Chinese elements in that garden because it was built by Chinese labor. So the gazebo we have actually is a Chinese design more than a Japanese design, and I didn't know that until people were pointing them out to me. But it does speak just about that kind of interconnection that you mentioned.
And I always like to use the metaphor of orchestral symphony to describe a multicultural community.
Yeah.
So we all enjoy a symphony because the beautiful sound, the very unique rhythm of each music instrument. But we enjoy a symphony because all of those instruments are played together. So all of those beautiful sounds are blended in creating a seamless piece that could transcend time.
Yeah. I've got one last question for you, and I know you've lived, worked, and you've traveled across Asia, I think 10 different countries from Sri Lanka to Hong Kong, and you are now based here in Victoria. So I wonder how you celebrate and honor your Asian heritage, like in your daily life.
I used to learn traditional Chinese art such as calligraphy and traditional painting, and I very much enjoy those moments when I use color and ink to express my worldviews through this very unique communication medium.
I want to thank you so much for a wonderful conversation, and I really want to thank you for sharing your insights and experiences with us today, and for being here to help me kick off Asian Heritage Month celebrations at Royal Roads University. Now, we're going to be celebrating throughout the month. Visit our webpage at royalroads.ca/Asian Heritage Month for more stories, resources, videos, and events. So thank you again.
Thank you so much for hosting this conversation and inviting